Today I'd like to talk to you about the job prospects for the class of 2026. And the numbers are, we have no idea. This is a problem that we have been coming to grips with from quite some time, and it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. In other words, now being 2021, 2026 being 5 years out, we don't know what kind of jobs are going to be open after that particular point. This is a window that's been shrinking over time. It used to be 15 years, then 10 years, then 7 years, now it's 5 years. And that's tough because especially when you look at the software industry, that of course is an industry that affects just about every other industry out there. And so what the software industry does is it builds, of course, software and programs for every other industry. And when you don't know what the problems are that the software engineers can tackle, then you don't know what kind of training you need in order to become the people that need to solve the problems that build every other industry out there and make them more profitable. So that's something that's very tough to swallow for a lot of us. And one thing that I want to caution you about, especially if you have kids that are in that area where they're going to graduate perhaps college in 2026 or beyond, is that you're looking at a situation where you don't know what is required. But at the same time, we're going to get caught up in an economy here where we're going to have a lot of shiftiness. In other words, we're going to see a lot of problems being solved. As a result of them being solved, workers are no longer needed. We're going to be in a situation where there's going to be a demand for a certain type of worker, and then all of a sudden that demand is going to be gone. So when it comes to getting that unsuspecting pink slip or that notice that says, you know what, you're going to have 4 more weeks or 2 more weeks, or I'm sorry, we got to let you go right now, that's going to be a very, very regular occurrence in our everyday lives. It goes back, of course, to that statistic back at the U.S. Department of Labor put out back in the mid-2000s, which said that the college graduate should expect to have 15 jobs between their college graduation and retirement, which averages out to about a job every 3.5 years. So the unexpected should now be expected. In other words, don't expect to have any longevity in a great career. And in fact, expect that if you're going to work for a company, that you should, in fact, think of it as more of a very short period of time you're going to spend with that company, and then perhaps be laid off or perhaps move on yourself. So how do you regulate this? How do you keep this from just driving you completely insane? Well, what I would offer you is to make sure that you know exactly where you want to go at every step of the way and try and afford ways to avoid, when you get that pink slip or when you decide to move on, that you can move in a different direction, that you've already talked to people who could perhaps offer you another avenue, and that you already have an idea of what your interests are, what your abilities are, what your audiences are, and where you want to go with your life. See, you know what? You could go out and you could do another personality profile. You could do a Myers-Briggs. You could do a DISC training. You could do all of that stuff. You could spend a lot of money. You could do a Strengths Finder assessment there as well. You can do all of those things. But it's so important to know who you are and to know what it is that you want out of life, that when those moments come, and they will come, happened to me several years ago, didn't like it, don't want to do it again, but it happened. When those moments come, at least you'll know what direction you're moving in, and you'll know what steps you can take to possibly further that career or further the idea of what you want to do in life, instead of simply reacting to when that pink slip comes or when the news comes and it's not good. You know, this is not just for the class of 2026. This is for everybody, because that's the economy that we're going to be moving into. And that economy is going to be so big that it's not impossible for you to go after something that you really want. There's so much out there that we can do. That's the good thing about that situation. The bad thing, of course, is that we never know how stable it is. But knowing ourselves, again, through our interests, through our abilities, and through our audiences, and being able to combine those things into something we really want, that's a true benefit. And knowing where you want to go and being able to get there and putting together a foundation of being readily available to move quickly one way or the other, that's going to be a skill that's going to be needed in the 21st century. Thanks for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope to hear from you soon as well. Write a comment for us, give us a like, and we'll see you soon. And always, never let your dream die before you do, and never let your children's dreams die before you do as well. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.